Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Humble Leaders. We're coming at you from a different platform, given our global situation here. We followed the trend of using Zoom, and we're here to deliver our third episode. So here we go.
Welcome. Hope you
Welcome
guys
all.
are excited. We are very pumped to, be fortunate enough to still be doing this in a platform that can transition to online and can be remote. We're all being safe, but yeah, we're glad that you guys are along for this ride. Thank you.
Yes, thank you all. So on the docket for today, we're obviously going to be talking about the pandemic and doing our part while this stuff is going on, and how it's going to look a little different for us moving forward. So
100%.
what do you think about our situation, Lincoln?
What'd you say?
What do you think about our situation we've got ourselves in here?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to give you guys the runaround. It's a shite situation, to be quite honest. But we're all making do with what we can, and we're all making sacrifices, some more than others, and I understand that. But I guess for me personally, sustainability is sort of taken a back seat, and being employed has taken the front seat because I need to make sure that I can still afford rent, because for some reason they're still out here collecting.
Right.
How about you, Ben?
Okay.
Well, I was one of the 20 million people that lost their job the first week of this. So I finally got my unemployment benefits yesterday, so that's a good booster for me. But all in all, morale has been low. I tell you what.
Morale
same with motivation.
Very low.
Yeah. What about you, David?
I gotta agree with what you guys said. Morale has been kind of at an all-time low, and like Lincoln was saying, we got signed a lease, moving into a house in a few months, so we got to figure out a financial situation for that in the upcoming months. But I guess the more important thing is really just making those sacrifices and staying healthy and being responsible and taking care of yourself.
Yeah, you did a stint in the hospital for a little bit.
Sure did. Yeah, I thought I was dying, as a matter of fact, but turns out I was just overreacting. But I mean, I was for sure sick. I can't say with confidence whether or not I had coronavirus, but I had a virus of some sort, and I was not feeling well. So I'm happy I'm able to be here and talking to you boys and keeping the humble leaders going. So
yeah,
get to talk
sustainably. Glad you're okay.
Appreciate that.
Lincoln, what have you been doing to pass the time?
Well, everyone says during this time, it's like if there's ever been something that you wanted to do, you should do it now. So I've been writing commercials. I wrote a commercial that's intended to be a animated commercial about Little Caesars and for Little Caesars, and instead it's called Little Seizures, because when you eat a full Little Caesars $5 hot and ready alongside a order of their cheesy bread, that's what happens.
Seizure inducing.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's whatever.
As long as you recycle the box.
Can you recycle pizza boxes? That's a really good question.
Cardboard?
Yeah, it's cardboard, but it's got oil on it,
Yeah, you can't actually, but
damn.
Just nice.
On the topic of sustainability, I've been going ham on the recycling. Like, we've got 4 little bins that we've got, and I'm going in and out of them, making sure everything's washed out and put in the right bin and it's out on the curb ready for it. But the way I see it from a sustainability standpoint, this is, despite the circumstance, it's kind of a golden opportunity to perfect the craft of at-home sustainability. So I've just been trying to do my best out here.
Yeah, and Lincoln, like you said, it's kind of a it's not really at the forefront of everyone's minds right now. Being sustainable, it's kind of the last thing on anyone's mind. But you still got to do the little things like keep recycling and do whatever you can. Is there anything you've been doing, Lincoln? Any gardening tips or any ag tips you got for us?
Yeah, 100%. I'm pretty sure that everybody understands that right now agriculture is reeling from this because I think a lot of people are going to walk away from this realizing what is actually grown and for what purpose. So, like zucchini farmers, melon farmers, dairy, ranchers, and things like that. The specialty crops that are grown in the United States are grown primarily for restaurant use. And that's why there are fields and fields of zucchini that are being harvested and then dumped back onto the field because people aren't buying them because restaurants are shut down right now. Same thing with dairy and with milk, like there's a bunch of videos going around of people having to dump their milk. But the problem with that is that hasn't happened since the Great Depression. Like milk hasn't been dumped like that since the Great Depression. And it's sort of sad because um, not only is it not sustainable, but there's an opportunity to feed people that really need it. And that's going to waste essentially because farmers don't have the infrastructure to deliver all this unused food back into communities that really need it. Me personally, I've been taking soda bottles and things like that, and I've been cutting the tops off of them. You drill 2 holes in the bottom, and then you fill that with soil, and then that's a plant pot right there. So a bunch of windowsill gardening is really all I've been doing. But yeah, I mean that's another way that you can be sustainable. And I agree 100%, David. Like it's all about the little things.
You know, something weird like I saw earlier today on Twitter,
Let me hear it.
and I just Googled it to double check, but I guess Belgians are being encouraged to eat more fries because there's like a huge surplus of potatoes in
Wow,
Europe.
Oh
So they're
wow.
just like pushing French fries on all these people. They're like, eat it.
that's so funny. What goes best with a Belgian beer? Like a big old hot pile of fries for sure.
Belgian French fries, I guess. Yeah.
No.
So
Let me tell you what I'm reeling from. Okay.
let's hear it.
I understand that restaurants are doing delivery. Restaurants are still open, right? Ben, in your case, I know that you worked at a pub slash brewery. I don't know if you guys are still open for like curbside delivery. Nothing. Wow.
We don't
Okay.
get it. We didn't get enough to go to begin with to even have one person in the kitchen doing that stuff. So
Wow. Okay. Well, I know that there are a couple of restaurants that are still open, and it's sad that it's only, like the Wendy's and the Starbucks drive-through and the
Jack
McDonald's
Shacks
and
and
shit like that. Yeah. But
I've been eating way too much McDonald's. I'm gonna just throw that out there right now.
yeah, 100% same. I've been,
any amount of McDonald's is arguably too much McDonald's. But,
That's a fair
and,
point, but they as soon as the pandemic started, they introduced the double Big Mac,
oh my
and I
God.
went, oh snap, and I got several of them.
Nice.
They're
Powerful
not that
marketing
good.
campaign.
They're not that good.
Are they as disappointing as the quarantine?
Just about, yeah.
That's saying something.
That's so funny. I
Gotta
don't know.
gotta eat the beef, I guess.
Yeah.
Gotta
I'm just
start
kind of pissed
slaughtering our
off that
milk
the
cows.
hours have changed, like restaurant hours are now ending earlier. So by the time that I'm trying to go to bed and getting that midnight hitter, you know what I'm saying? I can't.
Yes, sir.
So,
I'm all too familiar with that.
yeah.
So obviously the quarantine is awful. Nobody is enjoying it. I mean, I kind of personally, as a someone who makes music, it's kind of nice to be able to stay inside all day long without feeling like an absolute bum about it. But
Yeah.
what do you think some of the positive positive effects of this whole pandemic could be. Because, you know, have you heard like in what was it, Venice? There were like
Yeah.
dolphins swimming in the water and stuff.
In the canals, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been seeing pictures like that all over the web.
Mhm.
I don't know if any of them were like staged to fit the theme that it's like the earth is healing, like we are the virus
Yeah, yeah.
narrative thing that's going around. But in my hometown, like Silverthorne, Breckenridge area, moose are everywhere.
Really?
Like
Wow.
every day I see a Snapchat story from someone in my hometown of just like one or two moose in their backyard. My mom sent me like 4 or 5 pictures of moose just roaming around.
And
And I've
that's like
heard,
really, is that out of the ordinary for Brett?
I mean, moose sightings happen all the time, but like they're just like roaming the streets right now.
That's pretty cool.
And they've seen like there's been a couple mountain lion sightings, which are rare.
Oh,
So
that's cool. But
with the
yeah,
lack of human activities, just like giving the animals the go ahead to roam.
I feel like pollution has had to have significantly decreased in the last couple of months as well. I'm gonna have to look up something on it, but I mean, I feel like even you can kind of just notice just looking up at the sky at night, you can see like a lot more stars in the sky and everything. It feels. I mean, it is kind of like maybe I'm a little sick, but I feel like it is kind of like the air is a little hard to breathe around here nowadays. But I still feel like it's a little cleaner outside, and it just feels a little better to me at least. But
Yeah, it was somewhere. I think it was like Nepal. I saw this picture, and it was like some industrial town with really bad smog, and like after the first month of quarantine, you could see the Himalayas in the distance for the first time in like
yeah,
10 or some
yeah.
shit.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I think for me personally, I think that we're going to come back from this with a refreshed definition of what essential really means. And I think a lot of people are going to change their career path because if you've been in your house for 2 months and you've had to work online, I think a lot of people that have had to move online have been like, oh, I mean, I could have done this the whole time, right? I mean, now at the end of my college career, I'm realizing that I could have been doing something that I loved while going to school online, and I could have done it the whole time, and I just didn't. And I think that that's going to really shape a lot of things for prospective college students and people coming out into the workforce, and they're going to realize it's like, look, this is what we need to do. This is what should be done. This is essential. Um, and I also think that, like, and I mean, I hate to bring this up, but we don't need, and this might be a very northern Colorado mindset, but we don't need 40 different people making craft soaps, right? Like, we don't need all these people. Like, the fact that you can sell soaps on Etsy and make a living, I don't know if that really should exist. That's just my perspective on it, right? It's like, what are you doing to benefit yourself and your neighbor, sort of thing? I don't know.
Mhm.
That might be just, a
People need
swamp
soap, Lincoln.
trash mentality, but
People need their bird soap, yeah. But I definitely agree with you. I think there's going to be a lot of positive effects coming at the other end of this. Whenever that'll be, I couldn't even begin to guess how long
let's
it's going
give
to take.
estimates. Let's give estimates of when we think this is
Take
really
a
gonna
take a
really gonna
pool.
shake out.
Yeah,
I
I
heard I heard that like sporting events, like professional sporting events and like concert venues won't be able to have full crowds until fall of next year.
Damn.
2021.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
just like one thing I saw, but I was like, I believe it. The way people aren't really, or I guess a lot of people are. A lot of people are abiding by the stay-at-home orders and the quarantine stuff, but a lot of people also are not.
And did you hear
So,
the people protesting it out in Michigan? I think they said what 19 of those people contracted the virus after they went out in public and were protesting it publicly. I
Well,
just
they did that down in Denver too. And
really,
like if you saw those pictures of the nurses and hospital workers blocking them, like standing in the middle of the street blocking these cars trying to get to this protest, like it was a big deal.
Jeez, I'm gonna see if we can pull up a picture of that real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. It's just wild because it's like we were already in such a polarized climate, and now that people are bringing in their polarized political views into a virus means that we are drastically beyond the point of people that understand basic science. Like we fucked up. Like we're like I don't know.
Put
It's
it lightly.
hard. It's yeah, but it's hard to keep a positive mindset, especially when it's so easy to see how this is the fucking end. Like this is it. We're done. You know.
Hmm. It's a little unbelievable. What are there over somewhere over? You know what? I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna share my screen right now actually because I just got that video up. But yeah, I want to take a look at this real quick.
For sure.
We seeing this?
Hold up.
It's
It's loading.
almost
There we go.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Play that video.
Yeah, people. There's nothing patriotic. I mean, I don't understand why people think their liberties are being taken away. You know, it's just there's nothing patriotic about going out in public. There's nothing like your freedoms aren't being restricted by any means. Like everybody, the worldwide, billions of people are going through this right now. So it's a little unbelievable.
Hmm.
See that guy jog real quick, but
Dude, that guy looks sad, dude.
oh, I love this picture real quick. Might as well pull it up while I'm up here. Reopen Colorado now. You have to be a special kind of idiot to. But yeah,
On
yeah.
this same vein, though, I was invited by some fucking hillbilly trash that I went to high school with. I was invited to join a Facebook group called Reopen America, and I declined the request. But Facebook still shows me the posts, even though I declined to join the group because it said, this fucking guy invited you to join Reopen America. It's like I said no. Stop showing me this shit, Facebook. What do you think
I
Mark
mean,
Zuckerberg's doing right now? Do you think that Mark Zuckerberg moved into Epstein's island?
I'm sure he's living fat right now.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
sure
dude,
he's cool.
I mean, I'm not a fan of these protests. Obviously, I'm not on that side of the board as someone who lost their fucking job.
Hmm.
But like, I feel for these people, like the people that have real reasoning behind it. It's like they're living paycheck to paycheck as it is,
Oh yeah,
and
Right.
yeah,
unemployment, unless you got on it right away, which was borderline impossible. It took me a month to even get through
yeah,
because there were so many people on it. But unless you get that benefit, which is minimal, then you could be very screwed.
yeah.
So,
It's a scary time.
but
It's a scary time for sure.
I just don't know what implores these people to protest like a government sanctioned thing rather than go apply at a city like a supermarket.
Hmm.
Like they're
Yeah,
starving for people. They need people to restock the toilet paper shelves still.
Yeah.
They're even limiting people to one pack of toilet paper per person every grocery.
that was and getting back on the subject of sustainability, that was something that really bothered me at the start of all this was you'd see people going to grocery stores and Dollar Tree, all that kind of stuff, walking out with 40, 50 packs of toilet paper, thinking like the world's gonna end, and it's not necessary, and it's really just it's kind of screwing everyone else over, and it's yeah. But I mean, the one
I mean,
pack of toilet paper thing now and everything, it's crazy.
obviously, like demand for toilet paper kind of went down after that first wave, but yeah, the shelves are still borderline empty
Hmm.
every time I've been to the store.
And I think that I read an article the other day. I don't remember where it was, but they were saying like the meat sections of grocery stores are going to start looking like the toilet paper sections. And up in Greeley at JBS, would they say 20, 30 people came down with the virus? So they were probably just
Jesus.
in there distributing all this kind of. It's a scary time. You don't even. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of just yeah, a lot of uncertainty.
Right. And there is going to be a meat shortage for sure.
Hmm.
Like, I don't eat that much meat already, mainly because I couldn't afford it to begin with. But like, it's gonna get rough. And I don't know, when you take away the super cuts you take away Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins, and then you take away steaks, this country is going to be in fucking upheaval, dude.
Turmoil. Yeah, absolute turmoil. So how do you think, Lincoln? I'll ask you since you're the ag major. How do you think something like a meat shortage? Do you think that's do you see this having any kind of like positive effects on like the agriculture industry, like an increase in like produce like growth, or do you think it's gonna hinder any future like profitability for the agriculture industry?
I think it's going to be. I think that the government is definitely making, you know, special considerations for people who are farming and for people who are in agriculture, and that's great. But I think at the end of the day, and this is just a personal ethic of mine, is that like at the end of the day, the whole point is to feed people, right? Everybody eats. That's the whole deal.
Everybody
And
eats.
everybody eats. Exactly. That's the whole point, is that you got to feed people. And then if we look at what happened in the 30s when the economy crashed, people weren't dumping milk because they had to, just like now. People aren't dumping milk because they have to. People are dumping milk because they can't make money off of it. And I think that it's wild to think, because the farmer grows the crops on the land and then has to sell the crops at a premium just to break even, but then they have to sell it at an even higher price to be able to pay their costs of how much it costs to harvest and have to pay for the land. So I don't know. I think meat shortages are going to happen, and I don't think that we're going to stop consuming as much as we do. I think what's going to happen is we're going to import more from other countries, but the import costs are going to be so high because every country is not producing as much. So because every country is not producing as much, a steak that costs $7 is now going to cost $14.
Oh yeah.
And I think people are going to really realize that like meat for the majority of human history was a luxury, right? Like you had to spend 15 years raising a cow to then slaughter the cow to eat a steak once every, once a decade maybe, So I think people are going to really care about their food. But I think it's all going to come down to how much the farmers are willing to give as far as costs, because if farmers don't charge as much for their food, America will buy their food. And then if they're still trying to make a bunch of money off of it, then we're going to have to start importing. And once we give our food supply away to other places, we're fucked.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm on an article right now in the New York Times saying, just kind of backing up what you were just saying. Dairy Farmers of America estimates that farmers are dumping as many as 3.5 million gallons of milk each day. A single chicken processor is smashing 750,000 unhatched eggs every week.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, I guess there could be a positive effect like coming out the other end. Wastefulness will probably be, um, I guess, considered a lot more amongst
Yeah.
consumers. But I mean, yeah,
And it's going to be good. The problem is that we've got to get through it. And I
mhm.
don't know how we're going to get through it.
Lincoln, do you see this pandemic as something that's potentially going to reshape like agriculture as we know it, especially like livestock, stuff like that?
Definitely, definitely, because forever the whole point is that if the farmer doesn't make money, they stop farming, right? Um, I know that the proverbial image of a farmer is just this fucking dumb guy that's out there, you
Flannel
know,
jeans and boots and
yeah, just praying to God for rain, doing a rain dance in the middle of 40 acres. But at the end of the day, farmers have a lot of transferable skills, and they could just as easily go work for a chemical company or an engineering plant. And I think that might be where we see people. I think that livestock production is going to go way down at the end of this. If, like, let's say that all this goes away in June, I don't think it's going to go away in June. It's not going to go away in June, but that's when people are assuming that, we're all going to be able to go back to our regular
Normalcy.
lives. But
Yeah.
this is complete. It's not just reshaping agriculture. This is reshaping normal for everybody.
The world,
Like,
the entire
yeah,
world.
exactly. We were all so global in the first place, and I think we're still as global. But the problem is that this is going to be a new normal for everybody. It's resetting the benchmark kind of thing. I don't know. What do you think?
I have no idea. I just wanted your input on that. It's just like we have to, like, I'm no expert, but obviously commercial farming obviously changed after the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Like, we figured out ways to mass breed cattle and all that. And I don't know if, like you were saying, meat's always been a luxury. I don't know if it's gonna become a luxury again. And as a result, we'll probably all get a little more healthy, a little more alkaline in us.
Yeah.
Very
But
true.
and then have like a maybe celebratory steak every year. But I don't know. It's interesting to look at. But as far as McDonald's is concerned, they're still turning and burning that meat, man.
I know. But then
So
that begs the
Happy
question
sometimes.
about where McDonald's is actually getting the meat in the first place, kind of thing.
right. Well, maybe this will force like all the fast food places to start doing that impossible beef.
True.
Like maybe
Yeah, that
that's just what we'll come to.
that might become very, very popular over the next few months even.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's good for you, but it's not as bad as greasy beef, and it's more sustainable because it's made of plants.
Yeah,
So,
Right.
very, very.
And I don't know. I think that people are going to be way more considerate of other people's time too. And I think that they're going to take into account time and longevity of shit um, into their workplace, which I think is also going to be a problem with agriculture because, I mean, you're looking at something that you don't get a product until you've spent 8 months trying to, you know, source the seed. You've got to buy the seed. You have to test the seed. You have to plant the seed, and then you have to water it and make sure that everything's fine for fucking a 4 month growing season. And then after that, it gets rough.
Yeah, no, I hear that entirely. I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier. You know what? Let me share the screen again real quick, actually. So we're seeing, where is this, in LA? You see the screen?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Concentration levels were down by 31% from the same time last year and down 51% from the average of the previous 4 years. So we're seeing things
Jesus.
like pollution really clearing up. Um, so I guess, I don't know. I mean, I think this could really, um, in the end, this could really benefit, the fight toward the climate change. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how substantially it'll help, but I mean, even the air pollution levels are going down, and people can't even leave the house, so no one's driving around, no one's doing anything like that. So
well, yeah, it's just crazy to me that human activity pretty much ceasing for 2 months has done all this in that short of time.
yeah, in a very, very short amount of time,
I
three,
mean,
4 months or something.
obviously, once global quarantines are lifted in that, like the factories are going to start turning out and polluting again. But I don't know, maybe we'll.
And that's something I think, if there's a positive to come from any of this, it's this evidence right here. Like you're just saying, the factories. On March 25th, India placed its entire 1.3 billion population to lockdown, closing factories, and they saw the number of hours rated as unhealthy in New Delhi dropped from 68 to 17%. So I mean,
Jesus.
there's evidence here that, I mean, this is helping the environment. It's horrible for the human race, obviously, but I mean, I could see, maybe not under this current presidency, given the amount of like setbacks we've gone through environmentally, but I could see this really, going a long way toward placing regulations on corporations and factories and stuff like that in a few months, which is is a
Yeah,
huge plus.
I wonder if it's gonna affect our little cap and trade system that we're so fond of here. You guys know what that is?
Mm-mm.
No.
Cap and trade. So every country is allowed to like, I guess technically buy a certain amount of pollution that they can put into the world like per year.
Oh, like buy
And
shares of it?
so yeah, so that's the cap. But you can trade with other countries to pollute more. So like they'll buy like a pollution cap from wherever else. So then we get that added to ours and we get to pollute more. So I don't know, like maybe this will, I mean, could be a fever dream, but like maybe this will just lower everyone's cap.
I mean, ideally, I think that would be,
Ideally, yeah,
yeah.
but like just seeing like all the smog clearing up and stuff in a short amount of time, like we could at
Mhm.
least try and keep it to where it's at instead of going right back to just utter
Just
utter
chaos,
chaos.
Yeah.
disastrous. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about? Do you think the air is easy to breathe right now? Do you think are you experiencing any type of like shortness of breath, anything like that?
I
No,
mean,
because
Um,
I know for sure I have, and I know a couple people that have too. I don't know if it's the air here, if it's a symptom of
well, I mean, I got like a weird sore throat that like a few days ago that's still kind of lingering, and like the roof of my mouth is still like swollen almost. I
I
don't
feel
know
like
if it's from the air quality or like being cooped up in here in my
yeah,
house
hmm
with four other dudes breathing the same air.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
my
So
house smells weird, man.
yeah.
I don't know what these smells are anymore. It's
Have
just
you
weird.
have you guys been staying in? You guys haven't been leaving the house super often. Just
Just I mean, obviously Brant's got a girlfriend. He goes over there and that's about it, other
mhm.
than like grocery stores and gas stations.
Yeah.
Colton has a job still at the lumber yard,
Okay.
so he hitches a ride with a coworker there and back every morning.
Are you
And he,
Nice.
concerned about him going and meeting that person? Even Brant going out and seeing Natalie and coming back. Are you? Is there any
I
level of concern?
I haven't had any concern about it, just because I know Natalie's roommates are being good about it,
Hmm.
and she's not been anywhere other than here or there, same with Brant.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but Mark also had a job for a while delivering pizzas, but they just are bringing new people on and kind of screwing with everyone's hours. So it's kind of on the fence whether he still has a job. But
Mhm.
That's all
with
you can ask for.
the way they were delivering pizzas, like they weren't exchanging a pen to sign a receipt or anything anymore. They were like
Hmm.
doorstepping everything. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't.
I feel like my mother. Like I will see like a piece of food that someone else's hands have touched, and I can just visualize like all the germs and bacteria. And it's like I feel like I'm trying to be so much more like conscious about like health and just like But yeah, it's
Yeah, you can't see it, but my hands are dry as the desert sand because I'm washing them so much. Like
lathering them in. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's
we've been playing like doing Monday night poker nights here
mhm.
just as something to do. And like every time we finish a game, I'm just like, we all touched those chips, like
Yeah.
gotta clean off. So yeah,
I
everyone's
got you.
going insane, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, justifiably so. But yeah. What about you, Lincoln? Have you been taking any walks or anything? You've been leaving the house at all?
Well, I've been trying to get out, but like I I can't justify going on a walk just because it'll make me feel better for the chance that I'll run into a bunch of people because I live in this apartment complex and
Mhm.
the apartment complex is very spread out. It's not just one building. So when I'm walking out around, like there's a whole bunch of 20 somethings that don't believe that they're going to get this that are throwing parties all the time
Ridiculous.
because
Yeah.
they basically just gave up on their classes and rightfully so. And they are not doing anything, but they're just, partying all the time. And it's one thing if that was like, you know, five people that were just being loud. It's like I'm not annoyed by that. I'm annoyed by every time I walk outside, there's apartments just full of people. It's like this isn't helping anybody, you know?
It's just irresponsible, honestly. Because what do they say? Like, I don't know what the number is, but a good amount of people that get it, 80% of people that get it or something are asymptomatic. So you
Yeah,
could just be
exactly.
carrying this around and giving it to everyone in your apartment complex, and it's just irresponsible. Like, just stay home. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
Yeah,
call
it's
your
wild.
friends. Like,
You drive past like City Park on a day like this where it's 70 and sunny. City Park is packed
yep.
really,
still. Yeah, every time I've
really.
driven by City Park on a nice day, it's been pretty full. And I caved one day. I was like, it's so nice out. I'm gonna go up to Horsetooth, sit on a rock, and eat a sandwich. And so I went up there, and there were people everywhere.
Oh,
I was like, God damn, I gotta find my own rock, like off and away my
I
sandwich.
understand. I understand like the need to like get outside and like not just be cooped up in your house, but I feel like it's kind of. I mean, people. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's weird. People aren't. Like I've been sitting on my back porch all day long. Like I'm getting outside still, but I'm outside, and I'm not going around giving it to people. But
yeah.
there's kind of a degree of irresponsibility that's kind of coming along with this. It's kind of frustrating to
I've
me.
been
Right.
trying to take advantage of getting out at night when it's nice. Like we've been having
Yeah.
a lot of like roommate bonfires in the backyard. And
Okay.
one night, me, Brant, and Colton, after we played poker, we'd been drinking obviously, but we're like,
Obviously.
it's like 70 degrees out still. Let's run to the A. And so we ran to the A up by Horsetooth and
Jeez.
hung out there in the middle of the night. There's no one around, so
Yeah.
it was fun. It was nice. We got good exercise. I tell you what. But
Yeah.
nighttime's just as good as daytime these times.
It's getting to that time of year too, so it's a lot easier to be able to do that. That might help a lot of people out too, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so nice. Yeah, I haven't really been getting outside, but um, I think it is going to be nice when some of these are lifted because I think people are going to be like loyal to local businesses after this too. I think it's going to be like I want to go to, the town bar and I want to drink there and I don't want to bar hop. I just want to stay at one spot. It's low key. I think kickbacks are going to come into fashion after this, hopefully.
I gotta say though, personally, if they lifted the ban tomorrow, if they said you're good to go out and go to restaurants, you're good to go to bars, I would be sitting in my house for the next 3 or 4 months still. I would not
Yeah.
leave my house. I'm not risking it. I'm not. I thought I had the virus and I just could barely breathe. Like I was still like fine, but like, and that scared the shit out of me. So I'm not trying to go contract this and give it to my family or anything like that. But
100%.
it's just, yeah. And like we were talking like sports leagues and stuff, like considering opening. Like the NBA said players can start going back to the facilities in like early May. It's just what's like why rush it? Why risk it? You know?
Right. And everyone right now is talking about like, oh, it's an overreaction. Wouldn't you rather have an overreaction than have a whole bunch more people dead? Aren't there a million cases in the United States right now?
But yeah, we just hit 1 million.
Yeah, we just hit a million cases,
Yeah.
and this is nowhere near over. And I understand that people are taking precautions to flatten the curve, but it's like we need to overreact. This is
Hmm.
what we should be doing.
And I think you know the Trump administration kind of severely underreacted because what are there 2.5 million cases worldwide? Probably not even, and over 1 million of them are in the United States.
Yeah, of course.
We were horribly unprepared for this, and I don't know.
You got
It's
1,200 bucks though.
there you go. Yeah,
Did you get 1,200 bucks?
Donald Trump's
No.
personal signature on it too.
No,
I
I
didn't
didn't.
get 1,200 bucks. I'm still
I'm a
labeled as a dependent. I'm going to be a
dependent. Yeah,
dependent
Same.
until I'm 26 years
same.
old.
Yeah.
My mom was nice enough to give me hers though. She's like, I still have a job. You can have this. I was like,
Oh, that's nice.
so much.
You probably you need it too because yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
Do you
Yeah,
guys
just
think on
go
on
on.
the vein of like on the vein of corporations and climate change, do you guys think that corporations are just going to generally be producing less because we're consuming less?
Do you think we're gonna be consuming less, or you mean right now?
No, I mean like after this, do you think that we're going to be consuming less? Do you think that corporations are going to be producing less? Like is there going to be someone that takes the first step that says like I don't need all this, this and this, and then the corporations in turn are like, well, we can't sell this, this and this. So we're just not gonna make it, you know?
I mean, in a perfect world, that's how it would go down, but you see how selfish people are acting by protesting this stuff.
True.
So I don't know. It's a tough scenario.
I don't know if I don't know if we'll be consuming less because they'll be producing less, or if it's going to be the other way around. I kind of think that the humans are kind of inherently just greedy and just love to consume, which is a weird thing to say, but in any fashion, like humans just love, buying and eating and doing whatever they can. So I don't know. It takes a it would take something pretty significant, I think, to kind of try and convince like an entire nation, let alone an entire world full of people to, kind of just take it easy.
True.
But I mean, like you said, ideally that would be how it goes. But
I don't know. I think if this goes on long enough, we might get there, you know? But it's gonna
yeah,
have to go.
it really it does depend on how long this takes. So
Yeah.
yeah, what's your final estimate, Lincoln? When do you think this will all be over?
I think January of 21.
January 21.
I think January 21 is when we're going to be actually out of the woods on this. I think that people are going to go out and it's going to be open. And I think that we're still going to have sort of normal stuff. But I think even after January of 21, that's when it's going to be sort of fizzled out. I think that after that, though, everybody is going to be sort of on edge. Like, I feel like people are treating others as if it's like a toy on the ground that a little 5-year-old picks up. It's like, put that shit down. You don't know where it's been.
Yeah.
We're treating other people like we don't know where you've been, kind of thing. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's gonna be weird.
Well, I hope that's the case, assuming we get a vaccine for this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
think
still
about it though, like our kids will have a COVID-19 vaccine that they have to
Yeah.
get.
100%.
Like this is some real shit we're living through right now.
Right.
this kind of sucks.
It's
I don't
like the
know.
Great
I'm just hoping
Depression,
that
but
in the next
worse.
couple of months, we'll actually like develop a vaccine, because it's going to take a couple of months to actually produce enough to distribute enough to make sure that everybody's vaccinated. And I cannot wait for the fucking people that aren't going to vaccinate their kids for this,
Oh.
because it's going to be the same people that are out there protesting right now saying that it's a
Oh, wow.
conspiracy theory. And then in a couple generations, we're going to be rid of these fucking TikToks that are out here doing bullshit like this.
Yeah,
Dude,
hopefully we'll get
I,
go on.
I was just gonna say the anti-vaxxer community has been awful quiet lately.
Yeah.
real quiet lately,
Like
but
I saw this good quote on Twitter. It's like, you know how all those people don't believe in all these vaccines? Well, this is a world we live in right now without one vaccine.
Yeah.
single vaccine.
Global
Yeah.
panic and tens of thousands are dead. So
Yeah.
It-
How
those
long do you think before people start rioting?
I remember when I said, and I say this like sincerely, when they started the lockdown in March or something, whenever it was, they were genuinely talking about closing liquor stores and dispensaries, and people would have looted in that case if liquor stores, because I think the sales at liquor stores have gone up like 50% in the U.S. over the last couple of months, so people would be looting right now. But I honestly think it's only going to get better from here on out. I think it's already showed some signs of leveling off. Maybe in some smaller places, maybe in some other countries, they might start rioting and looting a little bit. But I mean, they might start rioting here, just like all these Republicans on the streets of D.C. or something, lighting
Yeah.
torches, and yeah, I don't know. But I
It's
mean, as long as they got Donald Trump telling them to inject themselves with Lysol, they should be pretty docile. So
Oh man. All right. I got to show you guys something. You guys keep talking. I'm going to email it to myself so that I can share my screen and share you. How about that?
yeah, that sounds wonderful.
David, how
uh,
would you say your mental health has been
Oh, true.
throughout this process?
I would say honestly, I've had a very good support system. I've had a very great support system. I was with my roommates for a couple of weeks, and then I came down back to Denver, and I'm just with my family now. So I'm definitely I just got all the time in the world to play guitar and talk to my family. So I'm doing pretty good right now. But the boredom is definitely starting to get to me a little bit.
Yeah, seeping in.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going a little stir crazy out here because
Yeah.
I chose to quarantine with my roommates,
Mhm.
and like my dad's had a couple health scares in the last couple months, so it's been more important for me to stay isolated than to potentially drag something over there. Because
Yeah.
my dad actually had a heart attack on like the 25th of March as soon as all this started,
Holy
Really?
and
shit.
so he was brought to a hospital with a bunch of coronavirus patients. So there was always a chance that like he could have it, and my parents didn't want me to have it, so they encouraged me to stay put.
Wow.
We'll find time to reconvene. My dad's fine, by the way. He's
Yeah, I'm
doing great.
glad to hear that.
Yeah,
Geez, that's scary.
he's doing great. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of this, morale has been low. I
Morale has been low. Has
mean,
been
it's
very low.
not. I've been doing my best to not let my roommates get on my nerves, which I think I've been doing well at. We've all been keeping to ourselves when we need our space.
A
But
lot more alone time.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just have felt no desire to be productive.
That's
I
and
think is the problem with
I'm gonna use this time to go ahead and just rip on Colorado State University.
Huh.
I and it's every school around the country, I'm sure, but
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm very very unhappy with how it's been dealt with, honestly. Yeah, we're all repping, but I mean, fuck them still.
Yeah.
I just I just it seems absurd to me that you can shut down an entire university but keep classes going with a bunch of 50 to 60-year-old professors who hardly know how to navigate the internet in the first place.
Agreed.
Trying to like run a class with 60 to 70 kids, like it's not working.
Let alone not refunding any of the amenity fees.
Yeah, I emailed
They're getting
somebody.
sued. They're getting
I was
sued for that right now.
I was pissed at I was pissed when this all started because I took online classes a year and a half ago and I did miserably. But I emailed somebody and I said, "How are we going to be reimbursed for the switch to online classes?" Some jackass who was affiliated with Colorado State University replied to me and said, "Actually, if you look, the prices of online classes are more expensive than being on campus." And I
No
replied, I
fucking
replied by saying, "Thanks, asshole. I took online classes for a semester, and I can confidently tell you that isn't true." And within 15 seconds of looking it up on Google, that'll also tell you that's just not true. So bring on the lawsuits, good, bro. I hope they just fucking have to redistribute as much money as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just,
I
yeah,
have no idea what other universities have done, but I assume they're all the universities are unified in just keeping our money.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can guarantee it. Yeah, and
So
just I feel like go on, go on.
I'll give you a little insider trading. University of Wyoming is making plans if they need to move online classes or if they need to move classes online for the fall semester. And that's University of Wyoming, which is in a state that doesn't fucking exist. So think about how we're gonna like what are we doing right now? You know?
Mhm.
I mean, everything right now is completely online. Everything is already because it's online. If they bring it back in the fall and then they have to do this again where you start in person and then you come back and then there's another spike in cases and they have to go online again, then they won't have any ground to stand on for not refunding people.
Yeah,
And
oh yeah,
you know
yeah,
what are you going to do?
yeah. I think it could have been handled better. And I mean, I'm sure nobody was prepared for a worldwide pandemic when this started. But I don't know.
Definitely
Speaking of
Yeah,
not.
pandemics and being essential, if there are any high school kids watching this, go to trade school.
100%.
Go to
Retweet.
fucking trade school.
don't go to college. That's the
Yeah.
if I can give you any advice from my 4 years of college, it's not to go to college. It's the best advice I can possibly give anyone. But yeah, I don't know. Motivation is certainly at an all-time low. I don't know if it's like a senioritis type thing, but motivation has never been lower in my entire life to do anything. This is schoolwork
Definitely.
related, but yeah.
Well,
How about
also at
you?
the same time, like, this is a fucking global pandemic. We don't need to be pretending that everything's normal. We shouldn't be in a productivity race, and that's what we're doing. We're all
Yeah.
trying to just one up each other because we're all pieces